Okay, guys, back at ya. I got GDX and GDXY. Why do we have that? Okay, I got it cleaned up here and lined up. All right, so we had a situation where it went down. How about that? Okay, what did we do? We went down 1.48 in GDX, right? The underlying. And we did better. We only went down 1.04. So 1901 and 3787. Now, I don't fully agree with what they did, but I kind of understand what they did. They had a trade. They made one little small trade and they basically closed out this 38. They had 240 contracts. They put it on 710 and we were well, I shouldn't say well below. This will tell me over here how much we were. Oops, I didn't. Oh yeah, I'll just bring this down and that will tell me we were 2.56% out of the money. So again, that's the problem with this fund. These fund managers don't really understand the precious metals when they start to move, and they've really not played it very well. I know I had a couple of comments saying maybe this is not destined for an income fund. Well, it's not my preferred way to play it, but if GDX, if in general the precious metals themselves and the miners, which are anywhere from 2 to 4 times the performance of the underlying metals in a commodity scarcity environment that we're moving to, then they're going to do very, very well. So even an income fund, they may get capped at times and will still perform. Even if if you get a 400% move in the underlying in the next 2 years, 3 years, then you could still get a 100% move. Well, isn't it better to have a fund that's going to double than be in a fund that's going to have NAV erosion? So that's how I look at it. That's why I recommend to people that just want to be income only and saying, hey, I want to diversify. I like these income funds. Then I say, get some. Is it frustrating at times the way it's played? So what happened here, let's go look at these on the weekly. Well, that one's now gone. Okay, but there were 240 contracts. They had a 38, a 39, and a 40. And remember, we ran up at what, 39.17 a couple of days ago. We looked like we were going to blow the top off, right? 39.28. And so we were well past the 38. So, you know, what they did was when they saw this opportunity on Thursday, but the truth is it's still even below 38. So if it opened today and metals are selling off, again, they can't be predictive of a single day. All I'm saying is I didn't think there was much chance of this turning around right now and running up to 39. Could it have moved up into the mid 38s or 38? Yeah. So not a horrible play at all. They took it off for basically even money. I mean, we lost $240 on the whole trade. Sold it for 36, bought it back for 37. It had been, can you imagine when we were 39.28? This was like $1.10, $1.20. It had time premium and 90 something cents. So not a bad overall play. Uh, but if you're going to do that, and it looks like we're going to win our 39 and win our 40. I mean, the 40 is, when I show you those values, they probably should have taken it off yesterday. They could have even taken the 39. So they took the one that was somewhat risky, but it turns out how the market's going and likely today, it's not. They probably could have closed it for a couple of pennies at the end of the day. We'll see. But again, I have the advantage of seeing the pre-market now, right? They didn't. So I don't want them to be market forecasters on a daily basis. I just want them to have understanding of the sector that they're playing in deeper than walking in and saying, I'm an options guru and I know how to execute a script. I know how to roll and I know how to write for premium out a little bit and just go on the IV that the market is showing. Well, the market's IV is changing, guys. And within 6 months, this will probably have a double IV of what it has now. And it'll make the fund a little easier if it does what I think it's going to do. So that's all. It just, and when people ask me, maybe this is wrong, no, it's not wrong. But for me personally, I have about a 80-20. I'm 80% in the metals miners myself, and I'm 20% of my capital that I want to put in an income fund. And I'll watch the fund and see how they do. And, they'll get better at it, but thinking that they have expertise in a sector is not what they're hired for. They're hired for passing their series set 6 and 7 and being able to write options, right? And work with somebody like Jay, who is really smart in options, right? I mean, Jay's not paid to be a sector deep guy either. He's paid to be an executive and an options guru. And there's no question that he knows his options. So they're not, unfortunately, that idea of active management doesn't mean they understand from sector to sector the peculiarities and how they perform, and whether there's options expiring on the physical metals next week, or they understand a little bit of triple witching and some of the things that go place in general markets. But this is a different animal, and some of them may have some expertise, but that's not why they're signed in an account, right? They're not assigned GDX because they've got 20 years of doing options on metals and miners. They're just first and foremost options people. Okay. Let's get into what we're dealing here. Let's go look at the weekly. So I started to touch on that. So they pull that one out for break even. Not a problem. 240, it's a small percentage, 10% of what we had active. So doesn't matter that we broke even. We didn't lose either, right? So I'm okay with that. So here we are, 1387 and 1901. Let's take a look at what we're doing on the holdings, because holdings tell us everything. So we're dwindling down now, right? We had a 731 win in our synthetic. Over here, we had a minus 324. Or sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. We had 325. I looked at the wrong number. And then we had 731. We dropped yesterday down a little. This was the big number, right? And now we're down to, I'll take any positive, right? A positive when you look at synthetics means you're winning. That's cash that you could collect at any point if you sold. So we have that. But, and then how are we doing on these? We're doing fantastic, right? Because we pulled back. And it could have gone either way, to be honest, and we pulled back. So 39s look great. They could have taken them off yesterday. No problem with not doing that at 37.87. The market's down. Hopefully by 10 or 11 this morning, they buy it back for a penny. And the same thing here. They could have bought it yesterday for a penny. I would have said, take it yesterday for a penny. You're worried about saving the 36 for 37. But honestly, they could have taken this off for a penny yesterday because it was trading down in the high 37s and it's 40 with a day to go. So that one, it's not a whole lot of money, and the odds are it's not going to run. But could it have run? Yeah, it could have. It just doesn't look like it based on what's happening. And the metals were down $30 or $40 in gold. Again, these are volatile. They're a bit like BTC. That's why I say you're not dealing with this calm. They've just been so unloved for quite a while. The baby thrown out with the bathwater, even though gold's gone to all-time highs. It hasn't gone to all-time highs inflation adjusted, but there hasn't been a price this high ever, right? It's just inflation adjusted. It needs to probably go to 5 to 8,000 to really to get somewhere, and very likely it will in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years. because it's a store of wealth, you know. Historically, over time, you can buy certain things with so much gold. You can price a home in gold. You can price a tailored suit in gold. And just historically, if you go back over time, and that's another video that I'm going to tie into my risk reward, okay, and talk to you guys about your expectations for some of these funds. You just can't expect these crazy, crazy high yields all the time. And if anything, I'm sympathizing with Jay and his team and any other fund that they're helping, or any other company that's doing the option strategy. Look, these guys are trying. They make blatant mistakes sometimes, and I'll call them out. But an income fund can only do so many things, right? It can't run crazy when its underlying is running crazy. But how many people can pay you an income on a stock that maybe doesn't even have a dividend? And while it's trading flat to slightly up to slightly down, give you some money from it. You know, it's a pretty creative and a pretty good strategy. So, you know, I'll tell you straight up when I think they're doing good and when I don't think they're doing good. And I'll also tell you when there are better ways to monetize an investment in that sector, right? But I understand some of you have capital that you need earned income with. And you may not know options. You may not want to trade the growth stock underneath it or something, or you may not want to go buy a leveraged one. So I get it. So I try to operate within that realm as well. So anyway, we're not bad. We're going to win these. You know, it's not a lot of money. It's decent money for this fund, right? But this will get a lot bigger and a lot better over time. So that's where we are there. Let's look at the payout. So we got hurt this week. Remember when I called out the fund managers? They put these stupidly low, you know, because the IV was low prices, and we just gapped and ran right by them, and it cost us a fortune. So we have losses in both our synthetic and in our short call. Now, do I think they're going to pay us some money? Yeah, they're going to pay us some money. But could it be a lot lower? Sure. This could be a 40-cent payout. Again, the month's not over. I still think that the metals can do well this month. And if they don't end up doing as well this month, then I think they're going to do well the next month. You know, the gold's not that far off. I mean, even when it's down, it's still in the 2400. So these miners, let's see, you're going to see some in the first week of August, some report on the 1st of August, and throughout that week. Newmont should report next week, but I don't think there are many next week other than Newmont in the top 10 in GDX, but I don't have the list in front of me. So anyway, guys, we'll get some money out of this. Nothing great to report. Nothing really happened. The good news is we should easily win the remaining, but that's already priced in. That's not giving us enough revenue that I want to see because we botched that situation before. Okay, guys, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Let me let you go. Have your Friday and enjoy your weekend. Talk to you. Bye for now. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Bye for now.